Hello, everybody. Uncle Jared, the voluntarist here. Um, just making a video today. Going to talk a little bit about the growth of the voluntary movement and some other things that, especially certain things that we're seeing today that I think are contributing to the growth of what I am seeing as the growth of this movement. Um, a few years back, I started a Facebook page dedicated to the voluntary movement called the Voluntarist Liberation Movement. And what this was just going to start out as a Facebook page like any other Facebook page. It was going to be a Facebook page for sharing memes, um, articles, news stories, um, you know, quotes, things like that. Just like pretty much every voluntarist or libertarian or, pretty much any Facebook page is about. Um, and of course, and this was a few years back, this was probably in 2013, 2015, somewhere in there. And after a while, I just got lazy with it and didn't really mess with it, shared every now and again, wrote something every now and again, particularly if anything bad was going on or anything big was going on. I would take to my Facebook page as a kind of a place to vent things um, on a page that I knew at least some of my followers would agree with what I had to say, and just a place for discourse and discussion about current events. But it wasn't. I didn't publish or post on it very often at all. But what I did start to see is it was basically a meter to determine the growth of the voluntary movement. And it has been growing. It grows all the time. My page was always growing. Without doing anything, I was getting new likes often. And it's between the ages of 18, I think, and 18 to 35 or something like that is the majority of my um, followers and likes. That's the demographic, which is fine. That's good. I would want to see more in that generation, the younger generation, and my own generation. Um, and I like seeing it grow. Ever since this whole Corona thing has been going on, I have been seeing it grow exponentially more. These lockdowns have done nothing but turn people to um, alternative political views, and realizing that people are realizing more and more on both sides that what they really want is liberty. They don't, they're starting to realize that some of these things that they have been squabbling over are becoming petty and aren't really that important to them anymore when they're being shut down, have their jobs taken away from them, their money taken away from them, and told that they can't go out, they can't associate, they can't have people over to their home, even. And it's frustrating people. And what I'm thinking is it's just frustrating people. And they're looking for something different. Kind of like the way the 60s birthed a generation looking for, and years before, decades before, but uh, it birthed a generation that was looking for alternative um, ideas of Western religion. We are seeing people now looking for alternative ideas of the two-party political system of the United States, and it's growing. It's growing every day. Not just one like every day. I mean, I'm seeing multiple likes almost on a daily basis of people, and I'm not sharing really over there. I'm not. I know I've made a couple of posts here and there, but I'm not by any means busy on that page, and yet I keep getting, and I don't sponsor the page. I don't, you know, use Facebook marketing to market. Um, it's uh, simply just, um, simply just seeing, just having the page, not really doing much of anything with it. And it's still growing. People are liking it every single day. And like I said, because people are looking for an alternative. They're waking up and realizing that these petty squabbles that they were having don't mean anything to them anymore. Um, there's still important issues that have to be addressed, but when you start locking people in their homes and telling them they can't associate with people or go to their job or shut down non-essential business, people have invested their life savings into these things, and now you're going to basically tell them that, mm, you know, uh, that sorry, but there's a sickness going around, and some people might get sick, so you can't work in your business anymore, and it's probably going to fail. And that's just not enough for people anymore. People are saying, hey, some people, and a growing number of people are saying, no, uh, we want liberty. We want to be able to come out of our homes. Um, we want to uh, voluntarily associate with people, and um, you know, we'll take our own precautions to not get sick. This is becoming crazy. Um, that you are that they're doing this, and people are looking at, hey, the only thing I truly want is to be left alone. That's obviously the only thing the government can do is either oppress me, take the rights of others, or make laws uh, prohibiting people from doing things that were given to them by the Constitution as their rights as a person. And people are saying, I don't care about this stuff anymore. These are petty things. What I want is to be able to freely associate. I want to be able to, liberty is what's important. So, yeah. So we definitely see it. I see it every day. People, this, uh, growing, this movement growing. And I'm glad to see that. I hope that it continues to grow. Um, Especially with this pandemic thing, we're seeing more and more uh, that, yeah, it was scary. It is scary uh, to its own extent. Just like the flu and other diseases are scary, and we have to be responsible and take precautions that to make sure that we don't get them. And that's enough for most people. They don't need to be locked in their homes and told that they can't go around their friends and neighbors and family because they might get sick. If my friend is sick, he'll tell me he's sick and I won't go over. If my grandmother's sick, it's probably best that I don't go over there. Or if I'm sick, it's probably best that I don't go and see my grandmother. We know these things. We've known them for generations. Um, and we weigh the risks ourselves and we decide if it's something that is worth the risk or not. And we go on with our lives. And this is just another one of those things that we have to, okay, it's part of our lives now. It's time to adapt, and it's time to weigh our risks, weigh our options, do what we think is best for ourselves, and move along. And that's what most people are wanting. And then we see things like what are happening in New York, things that I was personally attacked for, um, by people for saying. I only simply said that basically, I don't remember the whole argument, but basically it was, we don't know how real these numbers are. I've heard reports from supposed whistleblowers that the numbers are being padded by them attributing coronavirus to people dying it who were either presumed to have had it or who died from something else, and after their death they tested and were tested positive for coronavirus. That's all I said. And I was attacked, of course, by people um, saying, oh, that's just a conspiracy. Why would any doctor do that? Why would they do that? Um, that doesn't make any sense. That's just crap. If anything, the numbers are too low. All this stuff. And I said, hey, and then they started asking for proof. And I'm like, I don't have proof. I told you that this was not, I didn't say this is a fact. I said, this is what I've heard. And I've seen these reports. And they were readily available for anybody who could spell and use Google. They were readily available. You could see these things, people saying this. No, they weren't confirmed. I said they weren't confirmed. I said they were whistleblower reports. Didn't know if they were true. There was no confirmation, but this is what people are saying. Got called all kinds of names and attacked in all kinds of ways, but now, today, maybe they'll believe me that their precious newspaper, the New York Times, published today that yes, New York had been padding the stats. They had been padding the numbers. 3,700 deaths is what they said were attributed to their death toll, and they didn't even know, these people didn't even test positive for it. They were presumed to have it. There you have it. Black and white. I feel vindicated, yes, but when we start seeing reports like this, we're going to see even more people red pilled and coming to the liberty movement, coming to voluntary movement, saying this is the government obviously doesn't care anymore. If they ever did, they at least don't care anymore. They don't. All they want to do is take my money, maybe give me some money that they stole from somebody else, uh, take my job, take my well-being, and tell me I can't come out of my home, tell me I can't associate with my friends and my family, shut down protests as they did today as well in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Raleigh Police Department uh, shut down the a protest of people saying it was non-essential. So apparently now your amendment rights are no longer essential, at least in Raleigh, North Carolina. So want to give a special shame on them for that. Hashtag liberty is essential. Um, yeah. So hopefully we'll continue to see an uptrend in people coming to the voluntary movement and the libertarian movement. A small L. I don't care anything if people join the Libertarian Party or vote or anything like that, but hopefully they'll at least start to see that there's alternatives for these government bullies, this oligarchic empire that they've built um, over our lives. Unfortunately, and hopefully, I hopefully it's not too late. And if it is, that's really unfortunate that it took things like this to wake people up, and they couldn't see it around them being taking place elsewhere because it didn't affect them. If they felt like if it didn't affect them, there was nothing that they needed to do or that they could do. But now it's affecting everybody. Now they are willfully lying, at least in that one case, of those 3,700 people in New York. They are taking away, suspending our constitutional rights all over the country. That is happening. Um, Michigan, in particular, is one. And then, like I said today, in Raleigh, North Carolina, where they completely just broke up a number of people exercising their First Amendment right to protest. Um, they do need to be reminded that they work for us. And I think it's time that we fire them and start looking for alternative methods and let people, hopefully more and more people will start to realize that We don't need them. We're grown ups. We don't need babysitters anymore. Um, I have, the people that are my responsibility, I will take responsibility for them and myself, and others can do likewise. We can live peacefully and harmoniously together without force, um, and without coercion, and without stealing each other's property. And I hope that we continue to see an uptrend in that line of thought. Anyway, I hope this wasn't too ranty and rambling. I'm going to keep trying to put out content. You can get me on Twitter. I'm always on there, at Town Car Viking. Name is Uncle Jared on there, at Town Car Viking. At Voluntary Movement on Facebook is our Facebook page. And yeah, and then of course here on YouTube. All right, so I'd like to thank everybody for listening today. And until next time, stay free, stay peaceful, and Ave Libertas.